Annyeonghaseyo, everyone. Welcome back to our Korean language journey. I'm Minji, your Korean teacher.
And I'm Jisoo, a fellow learner, ready to build some sentences with you all.
That's right, Jisoo. Today's lesson is all about building Korean sentences from the ground up. We're going to take it step by step, focusing on the core components, verbs, subjects, and objects.
It sounds like we'll be starting with the very basics, which is perfect for beginners like me.
Absolutely. We'll start with a simple verb, then add a subject to say who is doing the action, and finally introduce an object to say what the action is being done to. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to confidently construct several complete Korean sentences.
I'm so excited to see how it all fits together.
Me too. This interactive session will give you plenty of opportunities to practice along with us. So get ready to speak Korean out loud. Let's begin. So before we dive into building our first sentence, let's talk a little about how Korean sentences are structured. In English, we usually follow a subject-verb-object, or SVO order. For example, I eat an apple.
Right, so I is the subject, eat is the verb, and apple is the object.
Exactly. Now, Korean is a little different. Korean follows a subject-object-verb, or SOV structure. This means the verb, the action word, typically comes at the very end of the sentence.
Oh, so instead of I eat an apple, it would be more like I apple eat?
That's a big change.
It is a big change, but you'll get used to it very quickly. Once you understand this fundamental difference, constructing Korean sentences becomes much clearer. We'll start by building our sentences bit by bit, always remembering that the verb will be the last piece of the puzzle. Are you ready to begin with our first Korean word?
I'm ready.
Great. Let's start with our very first Korean verb. A verb is an action word like run, sing, or eat in English. Our first verb is 미역다. Can you say that with me? 미역다.
먹다.
Very good. 미역다 means to eat. Now, in Korean, when we use verbs in polite conversation, we often change their form. For 미역다, its common polite form is 미어지어요. So 미역다 is the base form, and 미어지어요 is what you'll use when you're speaking politely, which is perfect for beginners. Let's practice saying 미어지어요.
먹어요.
Excellent. 미어지어요 means eat in a polite way. Remember, verbs are the core of our sentences. They tell us what action is happening. Now that we have our verb, let's see what comes next. Now that we have our verb 미어져요, which means to eat, let's add who is doing the eating. In Korean, the person or thing performing the action is called the subject. For I, the Korean word is jio. Can you say jio? Perfect. Jio means I in a polite way. Now here's where Korean is a bit different from English. In Korean, we often attach small words called particles to our nouns to show their role in the sentence. For subjects, we use particles like nyun or yun. These particles don't have a direct English translation, but they tell us, hey, this is the subject of the sentence. So when do we use nyun and when do we use yun? It depends on the last sound of the word it attaches to. If the word ends in a vowel like geo, which ends with eo, we add nyun. So geo plus nyun becomes geoniun. If a word ends in a consonant, we add yun. For example, if we had a name like Minji, which ends with a vowel I, we would add neun to make minjiniun. But if we had a name like Jimin, which ends with a consonant N, we would add ayun to make jiminiyun. Does that make sense, Jisoo?
Yes, it does. So for ja, we use nun.
Exactly. joneun. This joneun now clearly says, as for me, or I am the subject. Let's try some quick practice. If the word is 친구, which means friend, and ends in a vowel, what particle would you add nun or un? Take a moment to think.
친구는.
That's right, Singanian. You got it. And if the word is 학생, which means student and ends in a consonant, what particle would you add?
학생은.
Fantastic. 학생군. You both are doing great. So for I, which is geo, we attach nun, making it jonen. This is our subject. Now we have I and eat. Let's move on to what we are eating. Great job with the subject particles. Now let's talk about what we're eating. We need an object for our sentence. Today, our object will be sagwa, which means apple. Can you say sagwa, Jisoo? Excellent. Just like subjects need special particles, objects also need them. For objects, we use ryul or yul. These are called object particles, and they tell us, hey, this is the thing that the action is happening to. The rule for choosing ryul or yul is very similar to noin and yun. If the word ends in a vowel, you add ryul. If the word ends in a consonant, you add yul. So So for sagwa, which ends with the vowel A, what particle do you think we should add reul or yul? Take a moment to think about it.
사과를.
Precisely. Sagwaryul. You got it. This tells us that the apple is the object being eaten. So we have gio for I, sagwa for apple, and meo gioyo for eat. Let's try a quick practice for the object particles. If the word is mol, which means water and ends in a consonant R, what object particle would you add? Mul ends with a consonant. That's right, mulio. Fantastic. And if the word is keopi, which means coffee and ends in a vowel E, what particle would you add?
커피를.
Wonderful. Keopiriul. You are both quickly understanding the pattern. So for sagwa, we attach reul, making it sagwariul. Now we have our subject joniun, our object sagwariul, and our verb meogioyo. Now we have all the pieces we need for our first full Korean sentence. We have joniun meaning I with the subject particle, sagwariul meaning apple with the object particle, and miogioyo meaning eat. Remember what we learned about Korean sentence structure? It's subject, object, verb. So we put the subject first, then the object, and finally the verb. Let's put them all together. Joniun, then sagwariul, and at the very end, miogioyo. Our complete sentence is Joniun sagwariul miogioyo. This means I eat an apple. Let's practice saying this together slowly first. Listen carefully and then repeat after me. Joniun sagwariul miogioyo. Your turn, Jisoo, and everyone at home.
저는 사과를 먹어요.
Fantastic, Jisoo. Let's try it again, a little bit smoother this time. 저는 사과를 먹어요.
저는 사과를 먹어요.
Excellent. Remember to keep practicing saying it out loud. The more you say it, the more natural it will feel. So for I eat an apple, we say 저는 사과를 먹어요. One more time together. 저는 사과를 먹어요. Now let's build another sentence with a new verb. Our next verb is gada. This means to go. Just like miagda became miogioyo, how do you think gada changes into its common polite form? It becomes gayo. Say it with me, gayo. Great. So we have gayo, meaning go. Now let's try to say I go. Remember our subject geo and our subject particles niun or yun? What do you think we should use with geo? Jisoo, what's your guess?
Since 저 ends in a vowel, we use nin. So it's 저는.
Exactly right, Jisoo. So I go becomes jonan gayo. Everyone at home, try saying that, jonan gayo. Now where can we go? Let's think of a destination. How about school? In Korean, school is hagyo. Say it with me, hagyo.
학교.
Perfect. When we go to a place in Korean, we use a special particle to mark the destination. It's e. This particle shows the direction or location for verbs like gotta. So to say to school, we attach e to hagyo, making it hagyo. So we have joneun, I, hagyo, to school, and gayo, go. Following our Korean sentence structure of subject, destination, verb, how would we put it all together to say I go to school? Jisoo, what's the full sentence?
저는 학교에 가요.
Wonderful, Jisoo. joneun hagyo gayo. This means I go to school. Let's practice the full sentence together. Listen and repeat after me. joneun hagyo gayo.
저는 학교에 가요.
Excellent. Again, joneun hagyo gayo. One more time for everyone at home. joneun hagyo gayo. You're doing great. We just built our second full Korean sentence. Now let's learn another verb and build our third sentence. Our next verb is boida, which means to learn. How do you think boida changes to its common polite form? Remember our pattern. It becomes 배워요. Say that with me, 배워요.
배워요?
Fantastic. So we have 배워요 meaning learn. Let's try to say I learn. We already know our subject geo and our subject particles niun or yun. What particle do we use with geo? Jisoo, what do you think?
It's 저는 because 저 ends in a vowel, so we use 는.
You've got it, Jisoo. So I learn is jonan 배워요. Everyone at home, please repeat jonan 배워요. Now what can we learn? How about Korean language? In Korean, Korean language is 한국어요. Let's say it together. 한국어요.
한국어.
Excellent. To say I learn Korean language, we need to add an object particle to 한국어요. Do you remember our object particles? They are reol or eol. Remember, reol is for words ending in a vowel, and eol is for words ending in a consonant. 한국어 ends in a vowel. So, Jisoo, which particle should we use, reol or yul?
Since 한국어 ends in a vowel, we use 룰, so it becomes 한국어를.
Perfect. 한국어를. Now we have all the pieces. joneun, I, 한국어를, Korean language, and 배워요, learn. Thinking about our Korean sentence structure, subject, object, verb, how would you put it all together to say, I learn Korean language? Jisoo, what's the full sentence?
저는 한국어를 배워요.
Absolutely correct, Jisoo. 저는 한국어를 배워요. This means I learn Korean language. Let's practice saying the full sentence. Listen carefully and repeat after me. 저는 한국어를 배워요.
저는 한국어를 배워요.
Wonderful. Let's say it again for practice. 저는 한국어를 배워요. And one more time for everyone at home. 저는 한국어를 배워요. You're doing an amazing job building these sentences. Great job, everyone. We're doing so well. Now for our last new verb in this lesson. Our next verb is masita, which means to drink. Say masita with me.
마시다.
Excellent. How do you think masita changes to its common polite form? Think about our pattern, especially with verbs ending in sita. It becomes masyoyo. Repeat after me. Masyoyo. Perfect. So masyoyo means to drink in the polite form. Let's try to say I drink. We already know our subject geo and our subject particles niun or yun. Jisoo, which particle do we use with geo?
It's 저는, again, because 저 ends in a vowel.
You are absolutely right, Jisoo. So I drink is 저는 마셔요. Everyone at home, please repeat 저는 마셔요. Now, what can we drink? How about water? In Korean, water is mul. Let's say it together, mul.
물.
Good. To say I drink water, we need to add an object particle to mul. Remember, our object particles are reol or yul. Reol for words ending in a vowel and yul for words ending in a consonant. Mul ends in a consonant. So, Jisoo, which particle should we use? Rol or yul?
Since 물 ends in a consonant, we use 을. So it becomes 물을.
Fantastic. Muleol. Now we have all the parts. 저는, I, muleol, water, and masyoyo, drink. Keeping our Korean sentence structure in mind, subject, object, verb, how would you put it all together to say, I drink water? Jisoo, what's the full sentence?
저는 물을 마셔요.
That is perfectly correct, Jisoo. 저는 물을 마셔요. This means I drink water. Let's practice saying the full sentence. Listen carefully and repeat after me. 저는 물을 마셔요.
저는 물을 마셔요.
Wonderful. Let's say it again for more practice. 저는 물을 마셔요. And one more time for everyone at home. 저는 물을 마셔요. You are becoming a pro at building these Korean sentences. Wow, we've built 4 complete Korean sentences today. You've all done an amazing job learning how to combine subjects, objects, and verbs with the right particles. Let's quickly review the sentences we've created together. Our very first sentence was, I eat an apple. Do you remember how to say that in Korean? It was, 저는 사과를 먹어요. Please repeat it with me. 저는 사과를 먹어요.
저는 사과를 먹어요.
Excellent. Now for a quick challenge. In the sentence, 저는 사과를 먹어요, what is the Korean word for apple? Take a moment to think.
사과.
That's right, Jisoo. Sagwa is apple. Next, we learned how to say I go to school. That sentence was 저는 학교를 가요. Let's practice saying it clearly. 저는 학교를 가요.
저는 학교를 가요.
Great job. Here's a challenge for you at home. In 저는 학교를 가요, which particle attaches to hagyo to make it the object? Is it real or yul? The correct particle is real because hagyo ends with a vowel. Our third sentence was, I learn Korean, which we learned as 저는 한국어를 배워요. Can you say it with me? 저는 한국어를 배워요.
저는 한국어를 배워요.
Wonderful. One more quick question. In 저는 한국어를 배워요, what is the verb, the action word?
배워요.
Exactly, Jisoo. 배워요 means to learn. And finally, our last sentence was, I drink water. This was 저는 물을 마셔요. Let's say it one more time together. 저는 물을 마셔요.
저는 물을 마셔요.
Fantastic. Now, one last challenge. If I want to say, I drink, and I give you Gianian underscore, 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 masioyo, what word for water would fill in that blank, including the correct particle? You got it. It's mulo. So 저는 물을 마셔요. You've mastered these foundational sentences. You've done a wonderful job today building full Korean sentences from scratch. Remember the key takeaways. Korean sentences follow a subject-object-verb order, and particles like niun, yun for subjects and reol, ul for objects are super important for showing a word's role in the sentence. The best way to make these sentences stick is to practice them aloud. Say them often until they feel natural. Try changing the object or even the subject if you know other words. For example, instead of I eat an apple, try I eat bread if you know the word for bread.
I'm definitely going to practice these every day. It makes so much more sense now.
That's the spirit, Jisoo. And to all of you joining us today, thank you so much for learning with us. Keep practicing your Korean sentences, and we look forward to seeing you continue your learning journey with us next time. Keep up the great work, everyone.